Hello, it's John Esses Sports Channel back again, where we do Championship, League One and running. And today it's running. Thank you to the people who enjoyed the selection of tops, running tops, and how we were best attacking that question. I looked at myself and I looked at the bottoms and I thought, it's no use doing the tops without the bottoms. So here we go with how do you select running bottoms? So the first question is, what's the difference? Tops, bottoms, surely they're about the same, aren't they? We've got the same materials and long and short. Well, not quite. With bottoms, you tend not to get the specialist materials quite as prevalent as you do in the tops. In the tops, you've got a lot of upper body sweat and moisture, and there's a lot of special cloths and materials that I spoke about in my video about how to select a good top. In the bottoms, you tend not to. We've got long bottoms and short bottoms. With shorts, I'm also going to include the thought of knee-length shorts. So shorts, knee-length shorts, and we've got long leggings. Now, we're going to go through both of those, and I've got a selection, and we're going to do exactly the same as we did in our tops video. Check out the tops video, and then we're going to go and give you a little update at the end. So here we go. We're going to go with the shorts first, and we're going to give you an idea of what the differences are between the different types of shorts and their materials. So shorts come in standard short sizes. Yeah, we've seen all of those. A couple of those in nice short style. They also come in knee length. I don't have any knee length because mainly because they wore out, the ones that I had, and that's the only reason. It's also a personal preference. You can also get something like these. These are swimming trunks. Now, I've put them in here because I went on holiday and I didn't have any running shorts, and it was hot weather. It was middle of summer. It was 30-40 degrees C, so it was quite warm. And I'm thinking, wow, it's getting really, really hot. It's in the height of summer. I need some shorts. And I went out and I couldn't find any, but I could find some Rip Curl swimming trunks, and they are swimming trunks, so you can actually see the swimming logo there. Now the idea here is that these are made from, it's actually a mixture of materials in here. I did have it. It's quite a real mix. 80% polyamida, 20% elastana, and the outside is 92% polyamides and 8% elastano. So you have two different types of material in here. One is the main one on the outside is actually more. It's designed for the water, so it's designed to be nice and sheer, nice and shiny, so that the water as it hits the body goes straight past the trunks and doesn't start causing any disturbance of the water. Now, usually on the outside, runners would have something a little bit more curvy, a little bit more disturbing, because the bigger the surface area, the more evaporation, the more cooling you get. However, these being very tight, they suck up water really well, and they also evaporate quite well. I would say they probably hold water or hold moisture a little bit longer for me. However, don't be afraid to use or look at something like a nice elasticated pair of trunks. These aren't These aren't sort of like your usual. These aren't those skimpy ones. Look, they're quite nice, and they are actually quite good to run in. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, I certainly wouldn't go and look away as soon as you see them. They were my only choice in the shop, and they were the only one of only 2 shops in the village. So I did get them, and I'm not disappointed. I got what I wanted. They're a little bit thicker, so you can feel the heat a little bit more. But because they grip so tightly, you get a lot more moisture just being pushed out rather than being sucked out by the material, because the materials are for swimming. Now these are, I was looking for a pair when I got back, and I thought, well, okay, we do need some shorts. And I went to our local superstore, and I thought, can we get any, it was TK Maxx, I'll tell you. And they've got lots and lots of different types of running stuff. And it's quite stretchy, but not too stretchy. They are baggy. They don't cling. You could probably get a size, because I've got large here. Yeah, I've got large. So, and I'm probably a medium. So the large side is good for me, and it means that if I'm running in summer, there's lots of space there, and there's lots of airflow inside those legs. So in your groin area, female, male, if you have something a little bit baggier, and I do see women with baggier ones on, it's really good, because when you're running, if it's really hot, and shorts we tend to wear them in summer, don't we? If they're baggy, you get nice airflow around as you're running, like running around like that, and the air goes around. It's not so important then that this is actually 91% polyester and 9% elastane. So you probably, if you listen to the tops video, recognize that mixture. It's something that you get in your tops, but it doesn't feel the same. It actually feels quite smooth. This isn't the sort of this isn't the same texture as the running top, even though it's the same material. It's probably got a little bit less elastane, I should think, but it just feels a little bit more crisp and a little bit more less cottony, sort of more of a sort of plasticky feel, shiny, and it's quite good. If you start to sweat in these, it does indeed soak up the moisture, and you find that it sticks to the leg. Now you might think, if you don't want your clothing sticking to your leg as you're running along. Well, actually, it helps, because if it sticks to if you start over sweating and it sticks to the leg, and do that, and it sticks to the hand, then it does actually soak up the moisture, probably more with through the fact that it's capillary action, probably through the fibres, because polyester won't soak up water. Cotton soaks water, it actually includes water in it, whereas polyester sort of pulls the water around it and up to the surface, and then of course it evaporates as you're running, and that cools the material down, and if it's stuck to the leg, it'll cool the body down, and then it frees itself, and airflow, because it's baggy, works very well. So baggy shorts in summer, very, very good, absolutely a must, I think. However, we do have another option, and this is probably one of the options that people go with quite a lot. I just want to mention, going back to that, the elasticated band. Do always remember when you're buying bottoms to make sure that the elasticated band is absolutely going to stay where it is. I have had a couple of longer ones that when you run with, the band's not quite tight enough, and when you're running, you can feel it starting to go down the hips, and it's if it's uncomfortable, that's the best of the two options, because otherwise they're falling down and you're constantly pulling them up, which is not what you want to do. So it's sort of like a bit of a balancing act, I'm afraid. You've got to think these are really, really good at staying up, but as you can see, it's a good just over an inch band of elastic, and that's gonna cause a little bit of warmth only in that inch band, so you're not going to really notice it, and that's the point. You'll probably not notice it running, and that heat will get distributed around the local area around the waist, so you will be able to lose the heat, and especially if you're in summer, you'll have the top loose so that you've got air to actually do that. On the underside, inside the shorts, that's what we're talking about, baggy shorts, so that if the heat gets distributed downwards towards the legs, nice and loose, so that the air does actually take any of the extra heat that it's creating away from the body. These are a sort of bog standard, off-the-shelf beach short, I suppose, and these are just polyester. So you can get these, 100% polyester, just they have a nice inside. That's nice and meshy, so that if it does stick, it's gonna still allow for moisture to evaporate. And the same thing here. This is actually I like these because these are quite smooth and they're quite soft, and I actually quite like it. And they're noticeable, so that when you go down, when you're doing your marathon, your half marathon, and you're finishing, they notice you in these. You also feel good in something like these, and that's the important thing. You can actually buy something that is not purpose built for a run, and I bet you get more from the excitement of wearing an orange top and an orange tiger bottoms, and you feel really good, you look good, and you know you're doing the extra oomph you get in running by buying something like this is absolutely top. It really is, and it can actually get you running better in your mindset than having a better class of shorts, which was probably the black one before. Nice and baggy, purpose made for running. Not purpose made for running. Can be used on the beach, but do they do a job? Yes. Why? Because they're baggy, and because the cooling is 100%, I think, here from the airflow inside. Again, must mention the band. The band is quite thick. It's slightly smaller band than the other, but it's a thicker band, so it's actually more. There's probably more capacity to warm up that section of the body. That bit there. So not a great amount of body, but when you've got something like this on around your waist for perhaps 2 hours, 4 hours if it's a marathon, then it will start to heat up the area, and it's not allowing the body really to do much sweating, because if it does, it's just going to soak up into the band because it's quite thick and it's quite tight. You do have, obviously being a beach short, you can loosen it with the straps or tighten it. So it does have a certain amount of flexibility. So you can make them fairly loose. Just try and make sure you don't make them too loose. Again, falling down is not really what people want to see. No. So these are beach shorts, and I would say if you're going to buy a beach short, I would say make sure they're baggy, because that's the best thing about the beach short, is that it's a combination of the bagginess and the colour, and the make sure they look good. If they look good and they're baggy, absolutely great idea for the long run. They don't evaporate the water very well, and that's because of the material. The more, this is 100% polyester, so the water tends to just run around the polyester, and if you're actually running, tends to just stick in the shorts. So they're not great at evaporation, however, good airflow, and that increases the evaporation around the body. And now we go on to the long wear. Now the reason why I didn't go into the knee length ones at that point is because I've got some here. It's a bit like the Lycra style bottoms, and as you can see, it's heavily polyester. It's got elastane in it as well. Now that elastane makes it so 20% elastane in here. So we've got a lot of elastane. As you can see, quite stretchy. Now the knee ones are probably going to be made out of a similar material to this. 80% polyester. Polyamide in this one. 80% polyamide, 20% elastane. So nice and stretchy. Your knee ones are going to be made out of something quite similar, and they're going to stretch and cling to the leg all the way down to the knee. Now that allows the moisture to get out onto the outside of the legging, and it also allows for the wind as you're running and the heat from the sun. You're probably going to be wearing them in a sort of summer stroke autumn type weather, where it's a little bit warmer or a lot warmer, and the heat and the wind as you're running will evaporate the moisture. That in turn causes cooling, which causes the leggings to cool, and because the leggings are cooling and clinging to your leg, they will cool your body down. So that's the benefit of having a nice tight knee length running bottom. Now if you had a knee length baggy running bottom, you've got to be careful, because the longer you make it, the actual leg, the more resistance between where the air's coming in at the bottom, wherever the opening is at the bottom, either the knee or further up the thigh, there's more resistance to the air, and you've got to try and give it as little resistance as possible so it cools off the moisture straight away without having to bounce around the legging and up towards the area that's most hot. So that's the reason why I waited for the knee length one. This is a longer version of that, basically. So these are the longer, more clingy. Like I say, it's a very stretchy material. Nothing much that can be said about this. It's very much like I said in the running tops video that you all liked. It's clingy. These don't have zips at the bottom, and this is critical. Remember, if you're going to have if it's got a nice tight bottom like that that's going to cling to the ankle, there's no wind going up there. Just like I said with the arm. It's similar to the long-armed version, basically, of the top. No wind's going to get in there. You're not going to get any cooling direct from the wind. However, because it's tight, they will give you a good amount of contact with the wind cooling and evaporation cooling. Now, when would I wear these? They are quite thin, and if you're actually sweating and it's a cold day, as that starts to cool down, if the wind's really, really cold, you can actually feel that cold, especially when you first start and you're not sweating. You've got a certain amount of cold air going straight through this because it's not very thick. So do think about, if you're buying it for someone else, when are they going to wear this? Are they going to wear this in autumn when it's not quite as cold? Certainly not here in England. Or are you going to wear it in summer? You could wear it in summer. It's certainly going to hold a little bit more heat though, because it is something that is going over the skin, and it has a certain amount of heat absorbance, so you can actually feel that they are there, and you will get a certain amount of heat from them if you're running in winter. And if you're running in summer, I do know that if you're running in summer, the heat hitting that, you can actually feel them heating up. So you've got to be careful. You don't want to overheat. I probably wouldn't use them in summer, but you can do. It depends on how much you sweat and how hot is hot in your particular country. The other one I've gone for is, this is a nice long one. It's a baggy long one, and this is similar to some of the materials that we mentioned with the top. It's 92% polyester and 8% spandex. So this is the one that goes for spandex. There's 2 or 3 different stretchy materials basically around. And if you look at it's got a pocket on it as well. Now that is important. Do you want pockets? The stretchy items, you tend not to get pockets in. However, with the more baggy ones, you tend to get the odd one with pockets in. And that actually, if you're not wanting to wear the belts that you can get, this is actually a good alternative. And just remember that if you're running with a pocket and you've got something like keys in there, you could end up with big holes in the pocket. So yeah, do be careful, because obviously it's stretchy, and metal and stretchy items tend not to go together. But you see, a little bit of stretch, but it's baggy. Now, why would it be stretchy? To be honest, there is no need for the stretchiness in it, because it's the bagginess that's going to give you the cooling off. So in these we have, like I mentioned before, the zip. Now you're only going to get a zip in ones that, and this comes from the University of Alabama. That they came up with a few different running forms and how you need to cool down, and I got all this information, a lot of the information from there. So I am pinching their info, and the idea is that large area there, if you start running with this zipped up, you can actually run. You can run in summer with these, because there's an awful lot of wind allowed to come straight up the leg, and it really does start to billow up the leg. And the reason why I mentioned the university is because if you think about the leg when you're running, this is why it's different for bottoms. The foot actually goes forward quicker than your body and then slows down, and forward quicker than your body, and so there's more movement at this part of the leg. It goes quicker than your torso for a shorter period, and when it's pushing forward a lot quicker, this acts like a little sail, and it just pulls air up the leg, and it really does, and it works brilliantly. So having the zip at the bottom can work really well. Do remember though, if you're using this in winter, because I can use this in late autumn. It's quite thin. If I blow through it, there is a resistance there, but it does actually allow a fair bit of air through, but not enough to be, oh, that's cold. So I can use it in winter, and I can use it in autumn. It's a little thin. Do I want to do that in midwinter with snow? I'd probably not use it in snow and freezing locations, because it's so thin that freezing air would really bite into you. And I've seen people wearing shorts in sub-zero temperatures, and their legs go blue, and it's not a good idea. So zip, really good, but if you start running with this zipped up and you suddenly start, and it's the late autumn, early winter, or just a cold day, you've got to be careful, like especially if it starts icy rain or snow. That's gonna open the ankle and the lower leg to being blasted by extreme cold weather, and then you're gonna have to stop zip it back down again and carry on running. So you do have to think about when you're going to wear these. You really do. You can wear them in summer, absolutely, because they're baggy. And I have done. Really hot weather, where you're sweating a lot, that's where this one has a little bit of a trick up its sleeve, because the inside is not the same material. The inside is 100% polyester. So imagine it, any poly product is not going to soak up water in itself. Cotton will, polyester won't. Polyester tries to pull the water around the fibres and in through the fibre to the outside of the outside material. The outside material having elastane will do the same thing, but the elastane is trying to pull the whole thing a little bit towards the leg so that we can get a little bit of moisture coming through, and that we all know if you have polyester clothing it sticks and you can see the moisture coming through. That's why the inside of that is polyester, so that if it does stick, it's going to pull that, it's going to absorb not absorb, but it's going to hold a little bit of water for you so that the wind can try and come round and evaporate it. So it's almost like a little battery. It's holding the water instead of letting it evaporate. But because of it being baggy, the wind goes round both sides, whoosh, and you've got cooling. So this does have a little bit of a kick in its tail. It is two materials. So you do get special combinations, but not very often. And this is probably one of the very rare items I've seen on. It's a New Balance one, so yeah, you can see why it's a New Balance. So very rarely do I see combination materials. That's a New Balance one, and I would certainly say, yeah, that's probably the best pair of long running bottoms that I've got, because these are the bottom that can be used in early winter, all the way back to probably the beginning of spring. So 99%, 95% of the year you can use these. I would only not use them if it's billowing really, really cold, because they're that thin it would go straight through. Now, the last one is something like this, and again, it's a very stretchy material, and this is actually polyamide and lycra. So this is the lycra stuff that people say, oh God, he's got lycra bottoms on. Yeah, because I tell you what, really stretchy. These are thick. These are stretchy. You tend to find this sort of material a lot thicker. These can be worn in winter because they tend to feel just that little bit thicker. They have a lot more resistance if I try breathing through it. So they cling absolutely to the body, and they hold the water, because there's a lot of poly in this, isn't there? So yeah, 92% polyamide. Now most of the polys are just basically plastic and oil based, so they can't absorb water, but they can hold it and pull it through, and that's what this does. It will act as a second skin, like I said, with the stretchy ones around the upper body. The tops are the same. It will try and pull the moisture through, and it will try and spread like a little battery. It'll spread the moisture around, and it works basically on, you're going to run, you're going through the air, and the air will have to pull the water from it, and it will evaporate. Specialist materials are designed to evaporate a little bit more if they're on the outside of the leggings, like you see with the specialist long baggy one. And but no, this is one of those material combinations, one of the poly products, and polyester, polyamide. This is polyamide, and and one of the elastanes, or in this case the lycra, to try excuse me, to try and make it more stretchy. These are great. They're just that bit thicker. That this material tends to be like that, especially I think the lycra ones, although they do tend to be, most of them, really thick, or just thicker than the nice thin one that we saw before. And they don't look thin, and you feel it, and you know, yeah, that's not really thick, is it? And you put them on, you think, actually, that's actually thicker than you think. It really is. When you put them, so always try them on. You know, if you think, or sort of like just get 2 pairs of different material and just put them in between your fingers and do that, and think, actually, you know, it is actually a little bit thicker, isn't it? Benefits of these: nice and warm. Winter, brilliant. Summer, I can't wear these in summer. I cannot wear these in summer. I sweat. They're almost thick enough to make me sweat more. So I don't wear these in summer. Same problem with the zip, right? These are sticking to your leg, and the zip is really quite useless, because the zip would allow air up, but as soon as you get to the calf, I'm afraid it sort of stops, because and I'm trying to sort of see where the calf is. You have got a different padded material, but you've got a different padded material at the calf to try and absorb more moisture. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but you see that there's a seam there around the calf. So they are actually trying to, they are trying to make it different materials to absorb more in different areas. So it's really good, but because they're thick, they do cause more heat. The zip then doesn't really suck. It sucks air up to about the calf, and the air can't get any further because it's stuck to it's clinging the body too much. So basically, the zips on something tight, I found, are actually quite useless. Something nice and baggy, if you had an extra zip on something that's slightly baggy, then yeah, you can run, and that wind will go at least up to the knee or the thigh, hopefully, and start to cool off the area that needs cooling. But winter, depths of winter, something like that is an absolute must. I said that this is my favourite, the thin one from New Balance. Brilliant, but I wouldn't wear it in the depths of winter, because it's just too thin to do that. Now, with these, you can wear them in depth of winter. You can also wear them at the beginning of winter, and I dare say that some of those less warm autumn nights, I've worn them in sort of autumn occasionally, but they tend to stick in the cupboard for a good 6 months, these, and that they tend to stay out of the way. These, the New Balance ones, nice and long, light, thin, like you say, a little bit of a kick in the tail. There's two materials on here. It is New Balance. They do cost a little bit more, but I tell you what, they were worth it. They were absolutely worth it. I don't know if there's a name on it apart from New Balance, but no, just New Balance. I was hoping I would give you a name to them, but they have a part number 130893. There we are. But yeah, it's a very good pair. Like I said, you've got the really thin, the really these are really stretchy and really thin, and there's a lot of a fair bit of elastane in this, and more elastane than the polyester. These are thin. These are quite thin. So you do have to think about how thin and how thick they are. The the benefits of, I don't want to go to the more lycra style, the more where it's heavily lycra, and you get these nice printed lycra short, lycra longs and lycra knee length ones as well. And I just want to go to that for a quick example of looking good but not being looking good but being 100% acting like a second skin. So they're acting like a second skin because they're so tight, and they're relying on the moisture being pushed through through the polyester part of it, straight to the other side. And as they get to the side, the wind then whooshes through past the shorts and takes off the moisture. But they're not sucking it like the red top that I mentioned, the specially designed materials, or the specially combined of the New Balance bottoms. They're trying to combine two materials to try and get the best of suction and against the best of evaporation. So they don't get that, but they do allow, they're that tight, they are a second skin, and the moisture will naturally push through the poly material that you've got in there, and the stretchiness of it is there to make sure it's a second skin. But the colours and the brilliant designs that you can get far outweigh any of the downsides of not being able to have cooling from inside, or a special material to suck the moisture through. So they're not relying on sucking the moisture through because of the combination of materials. However, you get more benefit from the colours and the designs, and I've seen women, I've seen the wife, dress up in something really colourful. She started running just before she became critically ill with cancer, and she just felt and looked. I mean, the grin on her face when she put her lycra bottoms on and lycra top, and she was like, just amazing colours, and she liked all the best colours, and the more way out the better, she'd love it, and I tell you what, she'd run better because she looks good and she feels good running, than she would do if she'd have got the perfect material for her and to pull the body temperature down. Yes, she probably did get a little bit hotter sometimes, but it's amazing what that feel good factor does. So you've got to sort of like balance off with bottoms. So going into this last little bit, just as summary, with long bottoms, you've got to think, how do I look? Do I just want, will buying something for me or for your loved one, if it looks good, do you think they will react better in running? Most people will. Would he really love to go out in something like that? He wouldn't go out in a pink shirt, but hell, he might go out in a pink and orange striped leggings. And you never know. Like the stranger the colours and mixes that we've got out there, and the better. Some people can draw on that mental energy, and they as long as they feel good, that's what matters. And running's about that. Running is about enjoying it. And so if I said, look, I'll give you, you're wondering what to give your wife or your husband or your son for running bottoms for Christmas, I would say, look, running is about enjoying it. And if, especially if they're a beginner or a sort of intermediate person even, enjoying the running at that point is more important than times. As long as you enjoy it, the times might improve anyway, but it's more important to enjoy what you're doing than just pushing. Because if you stop enjoying it and you're just doing it just to try and beat yourself and beat other people, that's a great thing to aim for. But that's when the injuries start coming in, and that's when other things, mental problems start coming in, because I can't get out there. I really wanted to get out there. I needed that extra 6 miles to just keep it above 35, or just keep it above 40 miles, and all of a sudden it becomes a drudge getting out in the morning, and that's not what it's about. So colours, Lycra, yeah, brilliant. Think about it. If that would help them enjoy it, then that is what you should go for. Something that is colourful, maybe not as running well built as these New Balance ones. Obviously they're inside out, so I can get to the tag. And yeah, but I would, if they're wanting something that they want to just try and edge their performance forward a bit, as I turn these the right way around, then yeah, you need to go perhaps for, I would say, at least one of these. Now turn it the right way around, and you can see the logo there. So the New Balance ones, very, very good, purpose made for running, and they then you can actually feel good in these. I do feel good because I would probably like them a little bit more garish in colour, but they do look good, and I think I feel that I look good in them as well. The baggy, and that's the other thing, is that if I've finished a race, I can actually keep these on and feel good in them. Imagine if you've got running shorts on, you finish a race, you want to put something along on to walk to the car, or walk if you're close to home. You finish your run, bang, or walk the last 2 miles. You want to put something along on to stop the wind from just making you even colder as you walk, because you're not running anymore. You're not creating heat energy, but the wind's still hitting you. These help because they give you that certain amount of protection from the wind, and they're long. So it's a little bit of a balance. Look good, something Lycra, something long, or are they on the road to get improving, and yeah, they enjoy it, but now they want to just nudge the times a little bit. Do we start going with something special for winter? A little bit thicker, similar material for the other stretchy one. Oh, this is just fallen down. This one, it's the same sort of elastic included poly and elastic type product, but it's a lot thinner. That can be used a little bit more towards the middle of autumn and bit of summer, the end of summer perhaps. And you've got to think then when in the year are they going to use it, and then you move on to the shorts. Baggy shorts usually pretty much cut it for me. You can use the knee length ones, and you can have like I've got with the swimming ones, the more tighter short ones. So you can have tighter shorts, you can have tighter long to the knee. They act as a second skin again. Some people like them, some people don't. I think it's a personal preference on that one. I have seen a few people not liking the look of them, and then putting baggy shorts over the top of Lycra bottoms, and the Lycra bottoms, knee length ones, will then soak up, will then allow the moisture to push out, and then the baggy bottoms just allow the wind to go around and evaporate the moisture. So I have seen them in combination, but you do heat up a lot more. And just make sure that you cover each part of the year, because there's no point, like if you're going into winter and you're just starting, you're going to want winter something a bit thicker, longer, possibly, probably longer, You may be, if your environment is winter and cold is not that cold, then you might go for the knee length ones because they can warm up a little bit more. And that's why I say you've got to be careful. The short shorts and the tight shorts are okay for summer. Once you start lengthening the material down the leg, you start getting a little bit warmer. So just be careful and be mindful of that. So hopefully it's given you a bit of an insight, because it's a different kettle of fish. I think the bottoms to tops just a little bit. There's less specialist material like these around in the bottoms market, and they tend to be from people like New Balance and all the top running names. So John Esser Sports Channel has been back with another video on running. Please do like and subscribe. Please do comment if you like it, like we did last time. Then please do put a comment in there. Give me a smiley face if you like, and we shall be back with another in the future on John Esser's running channel. Thank you.